Hello, everyone, and welcome to Seeing Crime. This is another Karen Reed update. My darlings, my loves, it's Zelda Kelly with Seeing Crime, and we have another, situation that we just need to talk about. And that is, I'm going to call it a dual motion for Karen Reed to move her case to April 1st of 2025. Originally, it was January of January, I think, 27th of 2025. Now, if the judge allows it, that will be the date. Do I feel that it will happen in April? No, I do not. I think a lot of things are going to happen before then. But before we even get started, please do me a favor and subscribe if you haven't already. If this is your first time here, welcome. I do these little card readings, and this is for entertainment purposes only. I'm not law enforcement. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a doctor. I'm a card reader, and this just gives us something more to talk about. Right, everyone? Right. So, with that being said, today's cards are the Kipper deck. I mean, do we just not love this Kipper deck? And this Mythic Tarot, it gravitates to the Karen Reed case, and so does this fire element of the bicycle deck. One of these days I'm going to have to get some new cards, aren't I? That wouldn't hurt my feelings a bit. We're going to get started and lay a foundation and do a few new things with a layout just to see where things are going to happen. I'm going to put these to the side. I want to talk about this new motion that was originally filed by the Commonwealth, and then, of course, the defense for Karen Reed agreed. Okay, if they agree, we agree, right? Here we are. Spirits, guides, and angels. We're going to just take another card here. Here we are. Sudden wealth. Yes. Number 11. Let's remember this. Here we are again. Oh, boy, that one's stuck. Both of these. We're going to take both of these because I don't want to take one without the other. And here we are. Oh, boy. A wealthy man and a coffin. One more. Here we are. Distant horizons. You betcha. Let's clear the decks. No pun intended. So what cards do we have? We have the Sudden Wealth, number 11. We have the Wealthy Man, number 13. Number 19, the Coffin. And number 36, the Distant Horizons. Now, Sudden Wealth, I do not believe is money whatsoever. I believe what this is another out of the blue documentation, out of the blue notification, and just more info. And believe me, my darlings, there's more info coming. We're going to have plenty to do and plenty to talk about between now, which is November 5th of 2024, until if or when there is a new trial in 2024. And like I said, and I've predicted before, I don't believe it was going to happen in January, and I still don't believe that it's going to happen now. Tomorrow morning, we have the Supremes. Ooh, babe, yes, the Supreme Court, oral arguments. I'm there for it. See if you can catch it. We've got some really good coverage on YouTube. I'm not a lawyer. And I don't feel it's fair to comment because my comments will be my own opinion and maybe not even law-based. This wealthy man, I'm going to say this. This is Hanky Panky Brennan. Now, of course, he's not a wealthy man, but money is an issue here. And I truly believe that he would have done this for free if he could have just gotten involved. You know, there's some people like that. I mean, I don't want to call them ambulance chasers, right? We're not going to be that way. But I think there's something with this one. But here's the coffin. And we're going to confirm these cards. This coffin, obviously, the subject is Officer John O'Keefe's death, homicide, if you will. But I believe it's also the ending, a particular ending, the loss, a loss, and distant horizons. The distant horizon means that this could go on beyond April. There is a silver lining around this cloud, and there is an anchor, which means one of these days it's going to have to stop one way or another. But this is very interesting to me because I think with Hanky Panky there and this card is pretty much telling us that he has the power in his hand. Look, we already know that other ADAs in the CW's office do not want to touch this. They know better. And you know what? They have the right to say, no, I don't want to prosecute this. Because they know a losing case when they see it. That's why this outside was contacted and said, come on in, darling, we'll make you comfortable. You have a new home here. But you know, for $75,000, I don't know. Now, in this motion, it talks about new witnesses for the prosecution, for the state. It talks about new discovery. It talks about, look, the reality of it is they're not going to be able to find anyone that will refute ARCA. And where are they going to find a jury? You know, these are all these things that are common sense. But, you know, with this particular case, common sense has just flown out the window. Boom. Let's see what the cards have to say. I'm particularly interested in this. So we may have to confirm that. And I've got some other decks here handy if we need to. Oh, pardon me. This is reverse. And that's my fault. I don't read reverse. Boy, this card came out yesterday in a reading, the Five of Wands. I want to make sure that it's shuffled really well in between, just make sure. The Eight of Wands, and oh, when I said out of the blue, we're going to talk about that too. The Hermit. Now, he's a good-looking dude, isn't he? You know who the Hermit is? I'll tell you in a minute. There's no mistakes. There's no accident. The cards don't lie. I'm going to say this. This guy does, but the cards don't. This guy does, but the cards don't. The Queen of Pentacles. Well, guess who that is? That is Karen. Putting these down. This Five of Wands, this is both sides now raising their defense, meaning you can say they're putting up a little boundary around each one of their cases. This is both of them putting up the boundaries to protect what they already have, but now they're looking for more. The defense does have more. I will tell you, I've always believed that. But I believe that there's more going to be coming out from an outside source, and I don't really understand that. So let's remember this. If you all have tarot journals, let's remember what an outside source would mean for this particular case. And I think that at some point, Hanky Panky is going to shut it down. That's what I'm getting. Now, when I was talking about out of the blue, this is amazing as far as I'm concerned. It's the Eight of Wands, and the Eight of Wands can mean, here we are. Now, it is a fire element. It's amazing, isn't it? There's the mast, the fire element. Look, this ship is clipping along very well, and out of the blue seas come these two little dolphins. Out of the blue. And that can mean at any moment, at any time, there's going to be something surface just like these guys. It's going to surface to the point where it makes hanky-panky back up again and go, holy mackerel-andy, what are we going to do now? It's going to be smooth sailing, but this is going to rock the CW. Now, this guy is pretty interesting. Let's get a good look at him. This hermit, he's got this lamp that he uses to get on his way. He's got a scythe, which means he will cut his way through, which can be reaping a harvest. But you know who the hermit stands for? The zodiac sign of Virgo. Who is a Virgo in this? Uncle Brian. Why is he associated with this coffin card? Could that put him closely to some evidence? Could that mean that he has a close proximity to this? And maybe if they dug a little deeper, they're going to see. He knows. This is getting to them because now with this other civil case from the O'Keefe family and with Paul O'Keefe being the head cheese, Karen can now depose all these people. That's next. You watch and see. They're going to wait until tomorrow, after tomorrow, and we're not going to know the decision from the Supreme Court tomorrow. We may know it by Friday, but I think that it's going to be a little positive for Miss Karen. And when that's positive, that doesn't mean that she wins and it's over. It means that there's a great possibility that they would have to bring back the jury and poll the jury. And then what? That's when I worry, my own personal opinion, that's when I worry about jury intimidation. Now, that would not be televised, and I'm certain that no one else would be allowed in the courtroom other than jurors. And, of course, defense and state counsel and Karen. But this Queen of Pentacles means that she is going to be able to flourish. There's going to be a healing in her financial house. There's going to be the ability to make through with this financially. Oh, there's lots coming. I mean, this is like a can of worms now. And every week we see more and more. Now we are getting toward the holidays. And remember, I just feel that there is something that is coming out toward the holidays. This is going to be, and I'm going to say it's going to be closer to the 15th of November, because the 15th of November that's Mr. Reed, by the way. The 15th of November is going to be this full moon, and it's going to be this crazy time. You know full moons. One more card, and then we're going to dissect, and that is Jennifer McCabe. This is based on this diamond card. The success of a certain situation, however much change is needed. That's what this card means, because it's beside this card, the Five of Hearts, and it means there's a lot of decisions that need to be made still and will be made. This is so far from being cut and dried. We have the crash daddies coming in. They are about the only guys, fellows, crash daddies that have this cut and dried. I think their person that they are replacing, Trooper Paul, is going to be about on the same level. Nothing against him, but how can you match physics, your physics education with this is going to be very hard to do. The feds chose the best of the best. That's ARCA. Anything else might be a crapshoot, might be a gambling. But this is this is interesting, this card, because this is the Two of Diamonds. It's a business card, but actually it means working together. And it's amazing because that emotion that was for this new trial basically spells out that the state wants to work with the defense. Amazing. It's amazing that that Jennifer ends up right here with Karen, with Uncle Brian, and with Karen's papa. I think Verizon will have the information probably by the end of this month for Mr. Reed, based on what I see in my cards. But this Four of Hearts is very interesting because there's a lot of bitterness and there's a lot of resentment in this case. But you know who the bitterness and resentment is coming from? Yes. It is from her, because she thought it would be over, cut and dried. She's the fixer. Remember, the SOS theory, swap out suspects. That was her. Two other minimum people carried out the deed for Officer John, in my opinion, but she was self-elected to be the fixer. That's why you see, even in the footage where they're loading up Officer John in the ambulance, that she's not over there by the gurney looking at him. She turned her back on him. Why do people do that? I'm going to tell you why. It's the same thing. I'm going to use this analogy. It's the same thing as when a young child does something that they're not supposed to do. They close their eyes because they just want to disappear from it. Or when you go home and you've got this wonderful golden retriever, and while you're gone, the golden retriever decides to destroy your sofa and chew up your shoes and eat all the taco shells out of the cabinet, out of the lower cabinet. And when you go home and you say, "Who did this?" the little sweet doggy turns his head. He can't face it, doesn't want to admit to it, knows he's wrong. Well, that's why, and I'm sorry to reference a sweet little golden retriever in the same category as this person, but I'm going to say that's why you hear her and others call and refer to Officer John's body as it. It is laying on the lawn. This guy, why? Because it takes you and makes you removed. You're removing yourself mentally from a particular situation because you remember this went awry and they had to scramble. That's why there was a meeting on January 29th at 11-ish a.m. with Trooper Michael Proctor and the McAlbert family. Why would that be? Well, to get their story straight and to recruit Michael. He was just too blind and too overwhelmed, I'm going to say that, to realize that they were just using him because they thought he was a doofus. That's my opinion. This last card, Karen has isolated herself since the Vanity Fair came out. That was wonderful. But she's not going to put herself out there because she knows that if she does, and believe me, she's lonely. She is just lonely. She just wishes she could get into a car and drive and just keep on driving. But she's isolating herself, and I don't blame her. And I'm going to say this. If I had two really great defense lawyers, I would not want to come out and start spilling the beans about how I knew the feds had this or how I did. Now, it's different because there was a Vanity Fair interview, and I'm sure that the whole thing was vetted. But to just get on a program and say, yes, this happened, and yes, you're opening up a huge liability port. And don't we think she's got enough problems? Look, she can just, it's all going to work out. But sometimes you just have to play out what's happening, right? Because the end result is we want to see some people perp walked. And that is the Five of Swords. It's funny, we have 3 5s here. And the 15th is the full moon, okay? Remember that. This 5 of Swords is basically this card that says, I won, I'm winning, and you need to just kind of give up, and you need to just calm down. That is the attitude of the CW. But that's not true, and I don't want any of you to get upset. They're going to go through the motions of all this, okay? Courtship, yes. This is all we need to know. They've committed. This is the CW and Hanky Panky. He's committed to this. I can't help it. He's committed. So what do I see? Yes, the motion will be granted from what I see. The motion will be granted for April 1st, and of all things, April Fool's Day. Well, who is going to be the biggest fool? If they even have it. So April Fool's Day, look who the biggest fool is. Of all things. So at this point, I want everybody to just kind of relax. There's so much more coming out. Write down, make the notes, and you know what? I love it when you all put in the comments, I saw this number, I saw that number, I saw this happen, I saw that happen. I want you to know how much I love that, because I know that you're absorbing what we have here. And I think that this is so important for all of us. But there's more coming out, and watch toward the holidays. So these are really some important times coming here, especially in November. But December will also be a little busy. And then the courts close. And those offices close. And maybe Karen and her family can have a pretty good holiday. But I'm going to tell you, it's busy. This is going to get busy. And we've got more letters that are coming out. And I felt that it would happen last week, but I think we got a little distracted with some other things that are happening. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you so much. There was Sam walking through. She blessed the reading for each and every one of you. Please subscribe. Give me a thumbs up if you'll do that for me. And if you want a reading, please click the link in the description and come on over to Patreon, because I'm going to be putting some things that we really can't talk about on this channel as well. Keep watching, because things are going to be really good. And Saturday night when I go live, I'm going to be talking about possession. And is this particular person possessed? We're going to see. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Much love to you, and you have a wonderful day. Thanks for being here. See you soon. Thank you, Zeldinators and Tarot Crime Lab Techs. Thank you for supporting this channel. You know I love you, my darlings. Thank you so much.